resurrected under his government, as we, even if it's a different type of government? And will the Midwest, like Iowa City, still stand during Jesus Christ's rule and all that? Those are the things that I'm interested in, and especially that book on giants, and then the follow-up to giants.
Okay, very good. Stephen?
Well, my offer to George is I don't have my books in Braille, okay?
Or on tape, right?
Or on tape, but I will send to blind individuals. I'll give them my book if they'll have someone read it to them or read it into a tape recorder. Now, some people have told me that at different areas of the country, if I will provide the book, they will, put it into whatever form. I think it's usually audio form. So that's the only thing that can help him there. His other questions, those are questions he needs to get answers to from God. I can't even begin to take those questions on.
All right. Thanks, Tim. Appreciate it. Next up, let's go to Anthony in New Mexico, west of the Rockies. Anthony, you're on with Stephen Quayle.
Stephen Quayle and Mr. Norrie, I appreciate, first of all, Mr. Norrie, for everything you do of not dumbing us down. Since I listen to your show, I've shut off CNN, Fox News, all that stuff, because I just feel dumber than I started when I first started watching it.
Well, thank you.
Mr. Quayle, my question is, I'm a father of 3 young boys, and I'm 30 years old. First of all, you thoroughly got me freaked out. My mom always told me not to have kids in this system of things, just to not put them through what we're about to face. And now that I did, I would like to know, I know George had asked you, what are you going to do to survive all this? What do you recommend? Because I'm totally living off the grid. We go to Walmart. We live off the electricity that the city provides for us. As a matter of fact, I work for the city of Albuquerque. So what do we do to prepare for this future that's coming for us?
Well, first of all, I recommend Holly Deo's book, Dare to Prepare. Seriously, all of the questions. I've been in the world of trying to help people for 3 decades in preparedness, and I think she's written the best book that you can possibly get to take everything systematically. You already live off the grid, so you're not dependent upon that. I think you're taking the right steps. I think that, again, Holly's book is available by going to my website or her website, and that's the best book I know to prepare anybody.
What was her name again?
Holly Deo.
And the website is standeo, DEYO.com.
Right.
DEYO?
D as in dog, DEYO.
DEYO.com, okay.
DEYO, standeo.com.
And again, I'm a Christian, I'm a believer, and I appreciate, again, Mr. Quayle, what you're bringing forth to us, because we are being dumbed down as we speak right now, and that's something I'm trying to put into my kids so they survive for the future, and I appreciate that.
And I salute you as a father that has enough love for his kids to prepare them for the future. Most kids and most parents don't care enough to even deal with their kids in the present, let alone be concerned for them in the future. So thank you for what you're doing for your children.
Steve, let's go to Pennsylvania. Don, you're on with us. Go ahead, Donald.
Well, good evening, Steve. Good evening, George.
Hi.
And I'm calling from Copley, Pennsylvania. God bless that gentleman that called. I've got some things to say, but the one about he asked you about the book. Now, Steve and George, if that book has already been sent to recordings for the blind, if it has been.
It has not.
It has not. I don't even know what recording for the blind is.
Okay. But God bless that. That was so wonderful. And, Steve, one question I have. A reliable source, I feel a very reliable source, and I love mentioning all these names, says that after the Republican convention, they really feel that we will attack Iran. By the way, that's the true news with Rick Wiles. You've been mentioning Dmitry Duduman, and that's one thing I want to say. First, another thing, Steve, you know what? I'm also a blind listener. I listen to you every night on the shortwave, and I know the emails must be very difficult to deal with, okay? And I don't even know what it's like. But my point is, what I want you to do and what I want Hawk to do, and I'm hoping desperately he's hearing this tonight, I'm hoping that you all realize the people that really love you, the people that call you tonight on the show, and people that really love you, and I don't say this easily, but I'm one of the people that loves your show. It's very difficult. It's not a pleasant earful, but you talk about vulnerability, you're a Christian, and if you go off the air, I completely understand, but I thank God, and I thank you for indeed what you've done, and I'm wondering if you also know when you're going to be on Alex Jones. I don't know if I'll be able to find that out. Do you have any idea when you're going to be on Alex Jones?
I don't. I know that it'll be probably in the next 2 weeks.
2 weeks. I kind of chastised Alex a little bit for a situation that he got into in the Democratic convention. I've got to get him back on the program to let him explain that as we talk about other things, because he's been remarkable on this show, Stephen, with the things that he has seen and the things that he is so perceptive of.
I tell Alex, I said, I don't know what vitamins you're taking, Alex, but, man, I'd like to have some of the energy.
He was on many that day, let me tell you.
The thing is that, let me share this. As a talk show host, you basically try and do your best to get the information out. Look, I can't verify everything. I'm not trying to cover my butt, but the thing is that like the guys say, well, you're always wrong. Well, excuse me, tell me who else was talking about this stuff years before it ever happened. The thing is that I think Alex deserves a lot of gratitude because, look, he gets so much flack, but the people he gets flack from can't argue against his evidence in many cases, so they just attack Alex. And I think he's a true hero.
Next up, let's go to Kathy in Illinois. Hi, Kathy.
Oh, hi, George, and hi, Stephen. I heard Guadalcanal, and I shot to the spare room to pick the phone up. My father was on Guadalcanal. He never spoke about it. But years later, there was a couple containers. At the bottom of this container was a great battle book. I opened it up. It was about Guadalcanal. My father wrote his diary on Guadalcanal, and I'm looking at a picture that he drew of a Komodo dragon. He had a BAR rifle and was a sharpshooter. I hope I'm saying that right now.
You're doing a great job.
I just unearthed this 3 months ago, okay? It took me a while to go through all this. And he wrote, grows to a length of over 12 feet in average size, about 13 to 8 to 5 feet. What it boils down to is that he shot the tongue out of this dragon. It went up a tree. He shot the tongue out, but it still kept going. And they never, ever saw the dragon fall over and die.
Wow.
And he's got on here that he was glad he was off Death Island.
He called it Death Island?
The soldier. He's got in here the missing soldiers.
Right.
And he's got stars and everything. Now, George and Stephen, the producer asked me if I could, copy this and send it to you. And so I'm kind of excited because here's this Komodo dragon that he drew. And it's got flames coming out of its mouth.
I'd love to see that depiction.
Me too. Thank you so much.
So I'm going to do that through the Peru Library tomorrow. But he put names in here. I can tell you one thing. He did not care for MacArthur at all. At all. Okay, all he would say about MacArthur was lineage. And so I did some surfing and found out that MacArthur had lineage. But also about this dragon and all this, my father would never go to see a movie that had dragons in it. Or giants?
No, definitely. Get us that picture. We'll be back in a moment with final phone calls with Steve Quayle. I'm George Norrie. This is Coast to Coast AM. On our next Coast to Coast program, Bruce Lipton joins us. He's fascinating. We're going to talk about the biology of belief. That's on Coast to Coast AM. Stephen, the book, Return of the Longwalkers, how do you get it?
Well, they can call right now. It's actually being printed, okay?
As we speak.
As we speak. I just got to proofread it. I turned that over to somebody that is a great proofer, one of Tom Horn's people, and Tom will be the publisher, but I publish, as you know, I publish my own book, so you can get it and they can only call this number during the day, like from 8 o'clock to 5 o'clock, but they can call 719-547-9100, and it's called Longwalkers, The Return of the Nephilim. Longwalkers, The Return of the Nephilim. And I'd also encourage, George, people to take advantage of, while I still have some copies left, of Weather Wars. You know, the weather now, where it used to be the most boring thing you could talk about in days when it was so...
Not anymore.
Not anymore. It's the topic. And I would encourage people, again, the number to call during normal hours, 8 o'clock in the morning, and that's Mountain Time, to 5 p.m. is 719-547-9100. 719-547-9100. And that's where they can also order Holly Deo's book, Dare to Prepare.
Very good. Let's go back to the phones. International line. Brian in Toronto. You're on the air with us, Brian. Go ahead.
Hi, George.
Yeah, thanks.
How you doing?
Good.
Can't believe I got through. I've been trying for a long time to talk to you.
It's magic, Brian.
It's amazing.
Okay, go ahead.
These giants that Stephen's been talking about, what was their level of intelligence? Or if they were so intelligent or so smart, why aren't they wandering the earth now?
Well, first of all, it's my contention that some of them are, and if they were so wonderful, they weren't wonderful, okay? They ate everybody in their immediate vicinity. And tracking down the giants doesn't matter in the South Pacific, in South America, in Russia, what's currently Russia, China, any of the ancient civilizations, they pretty much turned to cannibalism. And the Bible speaks specifically about, even in the land of the giants, the land of Bashan, B-A-S-H-A-N, that the land devoured its inhabitants. Even American or Native Americans in the United States have stories about basically these things eating people. So the point is that they were not benevolent. But as far as intelligence goes, you're talking about an intelligence. I think George asked that earlier. You're talking about a supernatural element here of heaven meeting with earth and producing